Welcome to the Crooked Trellis, where I take you along through another week in my life. There is some exciting news on our homestead, and I cannot wait to share that with you. Today I need to start another batch of sourdough. This is one recipe that I'm going to use for multiple items, and I've learned that this recipe can go a long way. It does make 3 loaves of bread, but when it comes to bread options, I don't want just loaf bread, so I am going to use this recipe to make 1 loaf of bread and then buns for my family to enjoy throughout the week. It is the next day, and I need to shape my bread and my buns. Now, it is still early in the morning, but I am not the only one awake. So, the baby has fallen back to sleep on me, so I'm not gonna go lay them down. I'm just going to hold them so that they can continue sleeping. Now I have learned that with this recipe, you can make so many different things. I've made loaves of bread, buns, which I used into bagels, or even for dinner rolls. It just depends on the temp and the time that you bake it for. For the loaf, I learned that the best is 350 for 30 minutes. Also, that's the same for rolls as well. And then for the buns, doing an egg wash and baking it at 425 for 15 minutes. I can leave the recipe and my notes in the description box below. Just tap the more button. Now these buns will be used as buns for chicken sandwiches or burgers, but about half of them will be just for my family of 4, and then the other half we will use as bagels. Now they do freeze well. I find it easier if you cut the bagel in half and then freeze it. You don't have to fight it when it comes out of the freezer. You can just pop it in the toaster and it's ready to be put on a plate. But it is now time to go outside. There is just so much to do inside and outside during this time of year. And my husband is digging 2 foot to put in my 4x4 post for my garden gates to keep the chickens out when we free range. To remember what goes where, I like to use just a blank piece of paper and map out my garden layout, and then just place each plant on the paper, just writing it down, not the actual plant. And that way I could see how many tomatoes I have, or how many peppers, and carrots can go with the tomatoes and whatnot. But I just find it so much easier than looking it up while I'm out in the garden trying to see, okay, this can go with this, but this can't. But also being strategic with it, putting enough sacrificial crops so I can hopefully have a good harvest from the garden each year. I am so excited to see my new trellis we put to work this year. My husband and I put in a 20-foot long trellis for all our viney squashes. And we also have fresh chicks that were just hatched on the homestead, as well as 2 kids. We have a male and a female, and babies and mama are doing great and nursing well. That's all for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.